In the beginning, Hand to God announced it was coming to Broadway. We didn't have any movie stars, we weren't adapted from a film or any of those guaranteed moneymakers. It was suicide! But Hand to God opened and we got amazing reviews. I mean, look at these things. And that one, God. And audiences are losing their freaking minds over it. How do you like me now, Broadway? Hand to God on Broadway. For tickets, visit telecharge.com.
So please welcome the cast, playwright, and producer of Hand to God. Now, if you guys don't mind, for those of you who don't know who you are, please go down the line and introduce yourself.
My name's Bob.
Who are you?
I'm single.
Oh, okay.
I'm not in a program. And I'm fortunate to be in the part that Mark Kudish originated in this amazing play with these amazing, brilliant people that I can't believe I'm having such a wonderful experience with. And I hope to see you all at summer camp. I could have gone out stronger. I'll tell the aristocrats joke. Thank you.
We'll come back to that.
I'll see you later.
All right.
He was asked to say his name and who he plays.
Oh, Pastor Greg.
Oh, there you go, there you go. My name is Rob Askins, I wrote the play.
Say more, come on.
I'm not gonna say more. I'm not as interesting.
There's plenty of time.
Oh, come on, please, let's move on to this guy, he's so well dressed.
My name is Lucas McMahon, I'm the associate producer of the show.
I'm Michael Oberholtzer. I play a character named Timmy.
Sarah Stiles, I play Jessica.
Stephen Boyer, I play Jason and Tyrone.
I'm Geneva Carr, and I play Jason's mother, Marjorie.
So,
Magic
Rob,
Theater.
Should we go back to me now?
if you want to continue the joke, yeah.
Sorry.
Do you want to give my portion of the interview?
No.
You ask him my questions?
It's on teleprompter.
All right, let's go.
All right, Rob, where did the idea for the play come from?
I can't talk anymore.
I grew up in Texas. My mother had a Christian puppet ministry.
Oh, that's real?
That is a real thing. It was not like the Christian puppet ministry in the play. Thank God. I'd been dealing for a long time with self-destructive behaviors. And am still dealing with self-destructive.
You say that so ominously.
Huh?
You're
I
like,
believe in tone.
oh. Should I interview like this the whole time? I should interview very dangerously.
Yeah, let's do a Charlie Rose style.
All right, cool.
And so I was looking for a way to acknowledge self-defeating behaviors, and I was looking for a way to do it that would be cuddly and easily marketable.
Easily marketable.
I'm so glad they're behind me. This is the best setup ever.
Is your microphone on?
I don't think so, but I can project.
Yeah, it's on. I hear him, yeah.
And so I drew on my past as a Christian puppeteer and as somebody who liked to break things. And then I saw the very talented people behind me standing together at a party. And I said, they are the people that can bring those two opposing forces
Like
to life.
those two drunk people
Exactly.
can really bring this to life.
Right. I saw them fighting in an alley over a donut. And somebody took off a sock, and then the rest is on Broadway.
So your past as an actual puppeteer, I was going to ask where Tyrone came from in terms of being a puppet versus a real flesh and blood person, like another actor on stage. So it was your past experience as an actual Christian puppeteer?
As an actual Christian puppeteer. Also, I think a lot of brother plays are divided self plays. I think Sam Shepard's True West is a divided self play. I think obviously Shakespeare's twin plays, there are a lot of twin plays. And I think a lot of that has to do with most of the time character and personality are horse shit. Like, we have so many voices inside of us at all times.
Are you putting down horseshit?
Yes, sir. And so I was like, oh, well, let's acknowledge the war within the individual. And so a puppet's a great way to do it.
Wow.
In my opinion.
Can I ask a question? Did you live this childhood a little bit of what Jason Stevens' character goes
Great
through?
question.
There are some scenes in the play that are ripped from the headlines, that are very accurate and painful.
Mm-hmm.
But
And you used humor to get through it.
If you could say that this is getting through it, yeah.
I didn't mean that.
I'll lean the fuck in, man. I'm not scared. I know you're not. I'll lean the fuck in. I'm about to fall over. I'm leaning in so hard.
So the show pokes fun at, I guess, several well-known organizations like Sesame Street, and actually it sort of spoofs Avenue Q, which is a spoof in itself.
Never heard of it.
Yeah. And of course, religion. I mean, is that my personal interpretation, or was that intentional that you kind of wrapped it all together like that?
Religion spoofs itself a lot of the time.
Fair enough.
We don't have to reach real far to put some spin on that ball, but at the same time, I love the smattering giggles. Those are my favorite. Can't get through the goddamn line. But at the same time, there is much good, and there is much worthy, and much worth focus and attention, and human interest. So I think, in the same way that personality and character sometimes are strategies, so too is an opinion on something as complex as the human relationship to the divine. And sometimes it takes both laughter and tears to get at it.
Let that sit for a second. That's good. Lucas, how did you get involved in the first place yourself?
So I actually deserve no personal credit for it. The lead producer of the show, Kevin McCullough, who I work with, who couldn't be here today because he's in Washington, D.C. for the opening of Motown the Musical, which is another one of our shows, which is coming back to Broadway this summer. And I mention it only because I'm hoping for another free meal in your cafeteria. So, but anyway, he's there. So, so he actually saw the play at the Ensemble Studio Theater, the roots of which Rob and Steve and Geneva can talk a little bit more about. But he, I think, recognized the real brilliance of this playwright right here and these actors, and saw something really unique and that needed to be seen by as many people. You know, commercial theater is about bringing the work of really great artists to as many people as possible and as many places as possible. And so Kevin, who has also produced Rent and Avenue Q and In the Heights, so, you know, bunch of big flops. Yeah, Dress the Chaperone. Yeah, exactly. Really fell in love with this show. I started working with Kevin about 6 months after that, when he had been developing the show with Rob and Moritz, the director. And then we brought the show to MCC Theater, which is a wonderful off-Broadway theater company. Yes, deserves a big round of applause. Stephen and Geneva were in the show off-Broadway at Ensemble Studio Theater, and then Sarah and Michael joined the show at MCC, as well as a new design team and a bunch of other people who came together to bring you the production that is now on Broadway today. We opened in February of 2014 at MCC down at the Lucille Lortel Theater, and we're very blessed to receive a wonderful reception from the audiences and the critics, and then moved the show to the main stem, to Broadway. So that's kind of a brief history of how the show came together and moved to the Booth Theater where it is today.
So Stephen and Geneva, you guys have been around, you said, from the very beginning, right? I'm looking behind me. I got to move back.
Hi.
Sorry, camera guys. There we go. Yes, you guys have been around from the very beginning. So how have you seen the show like evolve over time?
Take it.
Oy. Well, this is actually, I would say that it's the fourth production that Stephen and I have done together of the show, because the original show that we did several readings of Hand to God because Rob wrote it in 2011. So we did several readings of the play, and then we did a showcase at Ensemble Studio Theater, which is where you don't pay the actors anything. They do it for free because they love it. And we had a hit on our hands, so they gave us a mini contract. So we did it at EST in 2012, and Kevin came to see it in 2011 and actually funded the 2012 production off Broadway. And that's one of the amazing things that I don't know if you know that producers do, and Kevin is the king of it, is if he finds something, he'll work with it until he thinks it's ready. So then he moved us to MCC, which is off Broadway, and we got Sarah and Michael and another actor, Mark Kudish, until we were lucky enough to get Bob.
I'm changing my name.
Yeah, Bob Kudish. So there's so many things to say about how a play gets developed and how it's been for me. But I mean, in a nutshell, the original reading with Stephen, it was a cold reading, and they said, "Hey, we're just going to do this reading of this play. Rob wrote this play. He thought of you too." And there's
Fight in the alley about the donut.
right, yeah,
Right.
yeah. No, we were dating. No, that's not
The
true.
donut? The donut? That's odd. Okay.
So the original reading, we show up to do this reading, and for those of you who haven't seen the play, it's really complicated. Forget the rape scenes. There's a puppet, and they were going to bring
That's
an oven
that's the quote that's going to go out
Yeah. We're putting on
at the Google interview.
Soundbite.
Forget the rape scene. There's a
Cast of Hand to God says, "Forget the rape scene. There's a puppet."
She did say forget, though.
Yes, she did.
You can edit this, right?
a little bit.
Doesn't matter what we talk about from here on out. That's the pull quote.
They're just gonna cut out the word forget, so it says rape scene. There's a puppet.
Also, it's the strongest laugh that's happened so far. This will be the whole clip.
Do you want to take it from here?
I don't know
You're
where
crushing it, Boone.
where were you going?
I was going to tell a good story about you, but this original reading.
Let's do it.
We do this reading. We show up, and they have said to Stephen, "Oh, hey, we're going to bring an oven mitt because there's a puppet." So Stephen, who is the true professional that you see before you, decided that wasn't good enough. So he Googled easiest puppet to make, which was sock puppet, and he showed up to this cold read with a sock puppet, and from the moment
arms.
go, yeah, with arms with like little like hanger arms and lipstick and eyeshadow, I remember, and he was two people. And that's the trick of the show. The show is a lot of things, but he plays two different people, totally different people that have scenes with each other. And it's astounding to see.
Right.
So we did reading after reading after reading. And it wasn't until we met Moritz that I knew we had the right director, because Moritz loves a laugh, but he will sacrifice a laugh for story. So all this time that we've been moving the play, the other thing, Rob is not afraid to make the play better. So I remember off-Broadway, our first 10 performances, we had a different ending every single night. I had to learn new lines every single night.
Really?
Until we got it right. And then on Broadway, the same thing is that Rob and Moritz were not willing to sit on any laurels that they had gotten. They wanted to make the show the best it could be, and it's been massaged in such a way that makes it what it is today.
Right.
That scared the shit out of me. I'm always like, everybody loves it. Don't touch it. I'm like, don't touch it. We don't know the weird alchemy that makes this work, so please don't touch a line. Like it was so frightening to me, but Rob and Moritz were brave enough to slash and burn and
Tell you to shut up, do it,
yeah,
Steve.
Exactly. And just bring in new pages, and I'm like, I don't know if this is gonna work.
Yeah, but there's something great. Like, if we hadn't had 4 productions, do you know what I mean? When we were in a Broadway theater that none of us thought we'd ever be in.
Oh yeah, I mean the stakes kept getting higher and higher.
Right, and I'm like, I got a new ending, and you're like, fuck your new ending.
And I'm like, I want to hear it. I want to hear it.
Right, you're like, you can go fuck yourself. I wish I had a trailer. But that's the thing. But then it was like, then we all chilled the fuck out. Do you know what I mean? And then the work got done.
Well, wait, and also what helps is we put that ending up in front of an audience, and we're like, oh, it's better.
Yeah.
It's because it's the reaction from the very beginning in 2011 and 2012 was so above and beyond that it's like, this can't possibly get better. And then it kept getting better. And that was I didn't think that was possible.
Yeah, me neither.
The development of new work and new plays, I mean, that's something that I think a lot of people don't know, but how much goes into it. It's not just if you create something and people love it, how do we make it even better? To paraphrase Jerome Robbins, shows are never finished, just abandoned for lack of time. So I think the instinct is always to keep working, and how do we make that moment better and stronger? And through the tireless work of everyone on this stage, that we get the play that is before you today, which started in this really incredible place. But I think where it ended is even stronger and more affecting for the audience.
Wow. So the only character not on stage with us now, obviously, is Tyrone, or I guess arguably he is. But I want to roll one video first off. We've got 2 videos of Tyrone, so we'll roll the first one now to kind of give you guys, if you haven't seen the play yet, a little bit of intro into who Tyrone is as the puppet here.
He's an amazing actor.
Genuinely honest on a stage.
He really likes to think on his feet, but he does have some memory issues.
No, he drinks everything. Bong water.
Definitely hungover. He's usually complaining of a headache, and he seems really dehydrated.
Antifreeze.
He really wants to kiss me.
Nicotine oil.
When maybe he's been drinking a little bit. Those are kind of tough.
The drugs. Yeah. Crocodile. Have you heard about that?
Well, I'm sure you know he was a movie star, and then his star meter, you know, on IMDb went. "Rrr."
Crocodile. Your skin starts to peel off. It's from like Russia.
I don't like to use the term sexual harassment, but
He has certain talents. One of those talents is blackmail.
You know, we had words. He came at me.
Well, not like the devil, but like an asshole.
I came at him. He drew a little bit of blood.
He has huge anger issues, but that's what makes him so great, you know?
Tyrone, thanks for joining us.
Hey, thank you for having me.
So, Stephen, you showed up. So you read the script for the cold reading, you were saying, and you showed up. You showed up with your own handmade puppet.
That's right. I'm that guy.
Was that your first, I guess, entry into puppeteering, or did you have any?
I'd done a show a couple years before that called Jolly Ship the Whiz Bang. That's a pirate puppet rock opera. I only do the most fucked up plays. Yeah, that was by a guy named Nick Jones, and that was the first time I'd done anything with puppets. But they were, very different from this. They weren't sock puppets or whatever.
Yeah.
But so I'd kind of learned how to, do some sort of puppeteering during that a few years before the first read through of this.
So what was your process like for just learning the lines? Because like the lines come at you so fast, they're just whizzing by, and it's like it's like you hand and you hand, you hand.
Well, I mean, Jason and Tyrone are written as, you could look at it as a monologue, but it is written as dialogue because they are 2 separate characters with completely different personalities and brains, and you have to. Jason and Tyrone will cut each other off. They would be talking over each other at the same time if they could, but all of the sound is coming out of my mouth. So I think we tried a music stand for a while because I had no hand to hold the pages. And that just, it was very weird. I mean, there were like a couple music stands in different parts of the stage, and I'd just be like, and I'd have to turn the page and be like, I don't know where I am. And it was basically like you just had to learn the lines at home and come in, and when rehearsal came around, it was just time to rehearse.
Did you start slow and just like?
No, I couldn't. It wouldn't work. Like I just dove in. I mean, I mean, like even when we were at the table, it was hard to read it and not do the puppet, the naked version of the puppet with like, the bones of the puppet. This is me with no clothes.
Yep. Pixelated puppet right here.
Yeah.
Right here.
We're going to green screen that later.
That's right.
But it's hard to explain. But when you try and break it down, sometimes we tried to do. There's a scene between Jason and Tyrone where Tyrone wakes Jason up in bed, and there's a scene in Jason's bedroom where Tyrone is kind of berating him and telling him that he wants him to like step up and be a man. And when I would run through it just as Jason or just as Tyrone, it just didn't feel right because they need each other.
Yeah.
And they're 2 split sides of the same thing, and dividing them up just felt wrong.
Which is harder for you to play, Jason or Tyrone?
I think, you know what? I think Tyrone is actually kind of closer to me. I am a small furry, red-headed disgusting. With no pants or legs. But Jason, the thing is that Jason is so sort of wounded and he's shrinking. He's such a he wants to hide so much that putting yourself back in that place of what it felt like to be a teenager that really has no idea what you're going to end up being like as an adult is painful and hard. And the further I get away from it, the more difficult it is to get back to that place of. I mean, I'm in my mid-30s now. I know exactly who I am, and I feel very secure in my personality. But that time in everyone's life is very difficult, and so getting back to that place for Jason is harder for me, whereas Tyrone knows exactly who the fuck he is.
Right.
He's the devil, which is why I feel so much closer to him.
Michael and Sarah, you guys came into the show obviously later in the process. So what was the audition process like for the two of you?
Michael, you have to tell yours.
No,
It's
go
so
ahead.
good.
Go ahead. I'm
No.
practicing sleeping with my eyes open.
No, you do it. You do it. You go. It's
No,
so good. It's
please.
such a good story.
No
Come
ladies
on,
first.
please. Shh. Do it.
Hold on, let me wake up really quick. Okay, thank you. Is my mic on? I don't want to be that dickhead with the mic not on. Everybody's like watching the. Okay, it's on. So I auditioned for this thing. I was one of the few people in New York that missed the production at EST, and I kicked myself, because I didn't get a chance to see this awesome hit play by this guy Rob Askins and this amazing performance by Stephen Boyer and Geneva Carr. And then I found out that they were, my agent sent me out for it, and I went in for it. And it was very rare that I didn't get a chance to read the entire script. And so they gave me the sides, and I went in and I just completely played everything like just straight, very, very serious. And Rob was in the room, and Maritz, the director and the artistic director of MCC, and they're just dying laughing. And I just walked out of there just feeling like I was a complete and utter failure because my best work was eliciting so much laughter. And it wasn't until I went home and I actually read the script that I realized that that was exactly what the play was. And interestingly enough, it became a challenge for me as the process went on when we did it off Broadway and on Broadway. And there was this quote that I came across. It was by George Dawes Green. I don't know if most of you know him. He's from The Moth. It was something along. I'm going to paraphrase it, but it was when everything opened up for me, and it totally comes back to this. He said something at the center of every great story is a flaw, a human flaw. It's actually failure, and a great storyteller recognizes in some way that he's a clown. And we identify with that because we're all clowns. And when I read that, that was like the point for me where I realized it doesn't matter what people think of this kid Timothy, if they laugh at him or with him, or if they don't laugh at all at his journey, that the permission is there and the story is such that, we've always said it's a very serious play that's fucking hilarious. Do you know what I mean? And that's what this is that we're doing. And it's the best kind of comedy, in my opinion. And with that, I'll pass it on to the great Sarah Stiles.
I mean, there was an audition. I went in, and I was lucky. I don't know. I wanted a job, and I wanted this job because I read the script and I thought it was brilliant. And I had done a lot of musicals, and so I really wanted to do a play. And so this was my first play.
Wow. She's amazing in it. She really is. You should come see Sarah. She's so good. She makes me crack up all the time. Just when I think she can't get any drier in her parts, she just comes on like, God, somebody just woke me up, and now I got to go on stage and say, she's so good.
Comedy scientist, Sarah.
She is. Her timing, it's impeccable.
Do you guys ever break on stage, or is it all like perfection every night?
Perfection, man.
Yeah.
I'm a
This one, we have a hard time. We have a hard time.
But I'm a professional always. I never break.
There's
man.
one line about a milk stank vagina, and if it is said incorrectly, we can't keep it together.
Yeah, that's true. This is dangerous.
It's
we have
bad.
to like separate our eye contact because I will
Because we
break with
also
her.
our characters hate each other.
Right.
So there can't be a twinkle, or else it's all over.
Yeah, and sometimes like Steve will do something and I'll look at Sarah and she's just like, did you just see what I just saw? And then we just start fucking laughing. It's horrible.
And
It's
then
very
Steve is like, you guys,
Yeah, but just with my eyes, it's just like,
pull it together.
we are in front of hundreds of people.
I'm new to this, but when Michael has a tendency to make me want to go up, and I never would want to. But when I looked at him on stage during a confrontational scene, and I
Very serious, very, very serious.
look into this brilliant woman's eyes, because I actually was going to crack up like Jimmy Fallon on SNL. That is not a good thing to do. You're a bad boy sometimes.
He is bad. He is bad.
I feel, Michael, I feel like you could, Timmy, I feel like you could turn up the Timmy dial like as you wanted to, because your character's all sort of like what's up, right? And I feel like if you turn that up just a little bit, it would just go over very well, making people crack. Yeah.
Yeah, there's different frequencies that I work on. Most certainly. Matinees, they get their own frequency. Thursday nights. Saturday nights, I fucking rock out with my cock out, always. Literally. Yeah, no, but
Saturday nights just skyrocket.
but that's his play. I mean, he wrote this character, man, with such there's so much place to play, man, for all of us, really. Rob wanted dick on stage, and I was the one that signed the contract that said sure.
So far, the sound bites are rape with a puppet and rock out with your cock out. So.
Rob wanted dick on stage.
There's no dick on. There is no dick on stage. There's no. You look disappointed. There's no dick on stage. I'm sorry.
I mean, we're all up there.
I mean, there's plenty of dicks on stage, but you just don't see them. This is a very serious play, people.
You spend like 10 minutes with your pants down at one point. Yeah.
Don't say too much now.
That's right.
That's a real spoiler alert.
Right. His pants are down. I'll leave it at that. Yeah, Sarah, your character, Jessica, is like the only, I guess we'll use air quotes, normal character in the show. Is that like a challenge for you to just play everything so I guess normal and deadpan?
I don't know. No, I'm gonna name drop right now. Spielberg came to see the show, and he said Jessica's like the therapist of the show, which I thought was so cool. But yeah, I don't know. I've learned a lot from her. I have to say, when I get myself into situations in my own life, I often wonder, what would Jessica do right now? But she's very insightful and smart and grounded, and yeah, she's awesome.
Huh. So we've got another video of Tyrone that I want to cue up here. But in the meantime, if you guys have any questions for the cast or Lucas or Rob, come up to the mics here. But let's roll that next video, please.
Yes, I went to DeVry.
DeVry Acting School?
That's right.
I didn't realize they had an acting school.
They do. I got a master class from Freddie Prinze Jr.
So at DeVry, you met who would become your best friend, Elmo.
Okay. Yeah, Elmo. What about him?
Yeah, they have a history, and they don't get along very well.
You guys were inseparable.
Oh, yeah.
Best friends.
That's right.
I know that Tyrone, I think, was something about Sesame Street, and then Elmo booked it, and that's definitely has not been put to bed.
It was an improv audition. They said, so we're gonna work with the letter F. What starts with the letter F? That answer changed the course of my life.
Is it true that Tyrone attacked a man dressed like Elmo in Times Square?
He lost his mind on this poor man dressed up like Elmo.
He's just yelling. He's like, tickle this! Tickle this!
I mean, he took that guy down. It was frightening. I didn't know what I was. People were running in right and left.
He went into like a fugue state. He blacked out. He doesn't even remember this.
If Elmo were here right now...
Is he here? Is he here?
He's not here.
I'm sorry, what's the question?
If I'm gonna be honest, I think that he's a little intimidated by Elmo and his success. And I think he's a little jealous.
You fuzzy piece of My show. This is my show. My show.
Very cool.
They didn't bleep the word fucking. They gotta move that, slide that over.
Cool. Yeah, let's get lights up on the Q&A over here. Yeah, we got a couple questions once the lights come up. Yeah, go ahead.
Hey, man, what's going on?
Don't know if you can hear me, so I will project too.
But this is Google. Shouldn't the audio all be good?
Oh, yeah. There's data mining going on of all of your temperature.
Actually, they're all holograms. Is what it is.
Kanye's going to ask a question.
I was fortunate to see the play a few months ago. I'm from Atlanta, a visiting Googler, and so I really was impressed with his Southern accents because it's not always the easiest for non-Southerners to do our accent. So, in particular, Geneva, I think yours was really good. So, can I?
I'm from Atlanta. I went to Paideia.
There you go. So yours was natural. For the rest of you, or you, how do you approach playing good old Southerners from Texas?
We listen to Geneva.
I'm also the dialect coach.
I don't know. Yeah, we didn't. Did we have one?
I mean, it's in the script. A lot of it's in the script. I mean, whenever they say the word can't, it's written can't. I can't. I can't do it. I can't. And we're like, oh, can't. Oh, they say can't. All right.
How many syllables does child have?
You are a
child.
You are a
He knows what I'm
child.
talking about.
Oh, cool. Well, thank you.
Yes, sir.
All right, thanks for coming. Specifically for the guys up front, I'm just curious, the medium of putting this as a play as opposed to as a musical or something digital, pre-recorded, movie, TV series, YouTube vignette. I'm curious what was your thought about putting this specifically in that medium and now that it's been so successful, how much you thought that played into it?
I'm gonna take this one.
Yeah, you take it.
The thing that Steve does is miraculous. What everybody does on stage is miraculous, but to watch somebody in real time deliver a performance like this is something that only theater can capture. Do you know what I mean? Like on film, you could cut away and you go, oh, that's a special effect, or they did many takes. You know what I mean? But to watch it live, I also think that there are more people don't expect to see this kind of thing when they go to the theater. Do you know what I mean? There's a lot of blood, there's a lot of laughs. And it's kind of three-chord punk rock theater.
There is a lot of blood, actually.
Yeah, boo.
Yeah.
Blood, sex.
Yeah, and it's something that
They always go together.
if you're doing it right.
You got to raise your age range, Bob.
Yeah. Please let it happen.
Yeah. So when the audience sees that and everybody's crammed together laughing, that energy just sort of multiplies on itself, and it gets like a rock concert.
Yeah, and I will also say, this play is, we go to the theater to be surprised. We go to the theater to have a live experience that we feel like, we couldn't see in our everyday life. As Rob said, if a screen is distancing, it's something, it is. You can do amazing things on television and movies. You can do explosions. You can do car chases. But to have that kind of exhilaration, but all it is these brilliant actors and a puppet. That live experience, I think, is so thrilling. And I think we as human beings, we are hardwired to want to gather and experience stories. And I think that what this man has done, what these actors do 8 times a week, is they get 800 people in a room and experience a full range of emotions. And they're experiencing it with people who are live on stage in front of them. And I think that's what makes this show really special. And I think it's what makes the medium of theater really special. So I think that is what these people capture in their art. And that's really special and I think really necessary to the culture of this world.
Thank you.
Yeah, Bob, you got the benefit of being able to come in near the end here and see a finished, polished product. What was your first experience, or first impression of the show?
Well, I'd seen the play 7 months ago. Kevin McCullum's a friend of mine. I was in Drowsy Chaperone. And I closed that one as well, so I'm a closer. But this thing is moving on. It's going to London with people that need dental work. But
soundbite.
I shouldn't have said that.
No, that's me. I need the dental work.
Oh, that's what I was saying. Yes. So I saw the play, and I was with 2 of my daughters and someone else I can't remember. And it was. I had to put her down, but but I could not believe it is exactly the sensibilities that I love. It is exactly everything that hits me, which is it's something very, very serious, which is people's problems with their families, the denial, non-communication, pain, death, and to be able to find humor in that. And there's different places throughout the play acting with these people, these amazing artists, where, as it's been written by this maestro, the pressure in the cooker is building, and at different times it comes out. And so a lot of times there'll be a very dramatic moment, and then this humor comes out, sometimes out of uncomfortability, because people have been through this, people have problems, people have a child who has a Tyrone personality, whether it be I mean, I know people that have people that go through similar things, but not as organic as a Sherry Lewis problem. Too dated a reference. Sorry, Google.
They can Google it.
But they can Google it. But it just the play just touched me deeply, and I laughed my ass off, and I thought it was a miracle when it was over. And one of the best plays I'd ever seen. I've seen 2 other plays. I saw Paint Your Wagon and Mummenschanz. So, and one time I got into Blue Man Group free. But the thing hit me on a very, very deep level, and it is a perfect play. Every time I'm backstage thinking about it, because now I'm past the point of thinking about myself, thinking about the work. It is a great writer, great writing answers the question you have in your mind. The moment you have it, it takes you to that moment in the next scene and in the next piece of dialogue. But what happened to, and they're answering it for you organically from your gut. And I also am proud that I'm bringing my version of Pastor Greg to the play, which is a different take. And I also feel, not unlike Sarah's character of Jessica, that I have a moral fulcrum to the play, that I'm trying to move things forward. And as inequipped as I am as a human being, as Pastor Greg is, he still loves this woman, no matter what, even though his pants are down, but I never said that. But it's an amazing work, and everybody should go see this play. Everybody. It closes January 3rd. Everybody in this room owe it to yourself to see it, especially if you have psychological problems. And if you work at Google, odds are. So we welcome you, and come backstage and meet Stephen and see the sweat that comes out of this genius after he's done. Just smell his sweat and you'll become smarter.
Do you enjoy performing in theater or TV and film more? I mean, you've got a little experience with TV, I guess.
I like performing behind black felt. Right?
Yeah, totally, absolutely.
That's right. First rule of improv is agree with the psychopath.
Yeah.
I love I give 1,000% to whatever I'm doing. So if any women are interested, no. This play is all I care about right now. I love stand-up. I'm going to go on tour in January and do some stand-up. Thank you. And I am more Tyrone than I am anyone else. But I'm not. I'm actually changing and evolving. And this experience, every piece of work you do changes your life. And these 4 years, these people have worked on this. So it'll be a big life change for everyone. And so stand-up is something I love. I actually like directing the most.
Really?
Yeah, traffic. I work as a cop. No, I really do. I've got a project. I've directed a bunch of stuff.
I walked right into that.
Movie. What?
I walked right into that.
That's what I'm hoping in traffic you do that. But I love all the arts. My favorite is spin art, because you don't know what you're going to make when it goes around. That was one question, wasn't it? 40 minutes went by.
It's amazing. So
Sorry.
The feedback from the public, initially you said it was very good. Obviously, it's still very good. Has there been anybody, like any celebrities, any VIPs who have come to see the show who, like Mother Teresa showed up and was like, this is amazing? Or anybody who has come that surprised you?
Oh, gosh.
Hugh Jackman saw the show, and afterwards he seemed kind of like stunned. And we were like, how'd you like it? And he's like, that was bizarre. we're like, yeah. And he's just like, that was bizarre.
So the general feedback from like critics and audience and everything, has there been anything that has surprised you from the audience? Like, do people come thinking that it's a legit religious type of show, or do people know it's a satire?
Well, some people have left because it can be shocking, but I do not think that it is offensive to anyone who is church-going, like my buddy from Atlanta. I'm from the Deep South, and my friends have come, and in their mind, Pastor Greg does minister us and does help us, even though I do some pretty shocking things with the Bible.
I think very few have left, though. Very, very few. I mean, in the grand scheme of things, have left.
I believe it's mostly because of incontinence.
We have had some people faint, though.
Really?
Those are my favorites, yeah.
We had to stop the show once because it was a big faint.
I love that.
I wish I would have done this thing from the beginning.
Was the language that made them faint, or like that one scene?
The blood.
Well,
a lot of blood.
There's some
the-
scenes that are pretty gory.
Right, yes.
And
Oh.
terrifying
Yes.
and unexpected, and we've
It's
had.
got blood, it's got sex, it's got puppets.
You know, and I think that this is a play that really aspires apathy in no one, which I think is what you aspire to do when you create theater. Because there were a couple, like, you know, old matinee ladies who came to the early one and was like, what the? And just like, you know, they were horrified. And I loved that. I think you loved that too.
And they love
Because
it. They love it, though.
Yeah, and they love it. I mean, and the vast majority of them, even who come in expecting something totally different. I'll tell you one story that happened early in previews. There was another show on Broadway earlier this year called Act of God with the wonderful Jim Parsons. At our like third preview, I was sitting behind a woman who turned to the man next to her and went, "Is Jim Parsons in Act 2?" No, he wasn't. But she loved it. She was like, had gotten there completely by accident. Thought she was going to come see Jim Parsons. He wasn't there. But she loved the play. So I think the surprise of this appealing to people you wouldn't expect it to appeal to has been really exciting.
I was personally excited because my television daughter from a show I once did, Candace Cameron Bure, came to the show a couple weeks ago. And she is very strong in her Christian values and proud of that, and a very dear friend of mine. And she loved the play. And we talked about it at length. And that's, you know, it's not a play that she also loved that I was a Lutheran minister, and I'm getting closer to what she would like me to do. And then I find the Bible sacred. And then there was quiet.
So the show, as you said, it's closing January 3rd here in New York, but it's moving to London. So is anything in the show changing as it moves across to London, or is the script remaining the same?
Aside from the cast, Rob, what's changing?
We're gonna see if what jokes maintain. You know what I mean? Like, we're gonna see if there aren't subtle changes in rhythm and in content that maybe help some of the jokes land, because jokes are so cultural.
You're going to say brilliant
Exactly.
a lot.
Exactly. We'll get to use a lot more C words.
Right.
Because they don't have a problem with that over there.
But it's not an offensive word over there.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, I think it's going to be interesting to see what audiences respond to there versus here. I think part of the brilliance of Rob is that he really listens to audiences, and he really listens to the way actors take a line and how you can make it different so that in their voice it fits in a way that will make it funnier. And so I think it will be an interesting experience to see, because, you know, over there they love plays that are really kind of like rough and incisive but it's a different culture, it's a different sensibility. They have a different sense of humor. So I think that it won't be largely the same, but it will be interesting to see.
There have been so many English people that have come to see the show and come up to me, and I think you're going to be surprised how much of the play they're going to get without assistance.
Yeah. No, I
think it's universal.
Yeah.
They eat biscuits, you know.
Well, yeah, and when you have people even in this country going, Christian puppetry, really? You know what I mean? I feel like there are a lot of things that will translate.
Yeah.
I feel like isolation and mental disease are pretty universal.
Yeah.
So is a good sex joke.
So we're wrapping up time here.
This is really fun, though. Could we keep going? I mean, it's Google. Can't you just keep going?
We got nowhere to be till 7, so.
People have other meetings to get to. Yeah, this is a work day.
Yeah, we'll go to the meetings. I don't want to promise anything to these guys, but I'm like,
I want to go. I want this to be like the internship with Vince Vaughn and Owen Wilson. I want to try to come up with a project.
Right.
Have it
Buddy
spread.
comedy ever. You and I going to different meetings.
We'll go to pizza shops.
High five.
I expected more hoverboards today. Where are the hoverboards?
Right.
What about the food here? My God in heaven.
You just want to talk about just anything to stay on stage? Yeah.
Now you understand me. I had a dream.
All right, let's see. What can we do? Stephen, if Tyrone used Google, what would he search for?
Yeah.
It's a three-way tie between furry porn, sex with houseplants, and how to make amphetamines from Imodium and Vicks Vapor Rub.
Fair enough. All right.
There is Google in the play. I am looking on a computer at one moment trying to find out about possession and things.
So you movie type?
I'm actually, in my mind, I'm on Google searching in my mind. It's a rough place to be.
So everyone, if there's no more live questions, everyone remember our discount, go/handtogod-discount. Go see the show now through January 3rd at the Booth Theater, 222 West 45th Street, at Hand to God Broadway on Twitter and Instagram, facebook.com/handtogodbroadway, handtogodbway.com, or telecharge for tickets. Oh, question!
There we go.
We'll do a live question. So,
yes.
The subtitle there, A New American Play. Well, thank you for new and not a revival of Paint Your Wagon. You say an American play. What context? I mean, it's going to play well in London, you believe. Is it uniquely American values or universal or just you got to say something?
I can take that because we're the ones that put it on.
Marketing people,
right?
right?
I think that there's, on Broadway right now, there's the season we saw we were coming into were a lot of plays that were imported from London. And they're all great plays and they're all very worthy shows. But there's something that's really special about having a show that was created by American audiences. And there is something uniquely American about the play. It doesn't mean that it's not universal and it can't play just as well in London or, Paris or South Africa, but there is something that the American spirit of this play, I think, is part of what makes it really special. So I think that we were excited when we went to market the play about kind of being very open about that and saying this was a show made by American audiences about the American experience. And I think that that's something that we need more of on our stages, and I think that we thought that would get people just excited to
marketing speak.
To experience that sensibility.
Okay, thank you.
Originally, it said a new play from the Philippines, and nobody was.
It didn't test well, so yeah.
Yeah, no, that
Yeah, one more question over here.
Can you tell us more about Christian puppetry? Because when you first said that, I thought you were joking, but very quickly it became clear that you weren't joking. And that was a huge surprise to me. So I'd love to hear about it.
This is my favorite question ever. This actually really dovetails very nicely with the Americanness of the question. There's something really, there's a special kind of anxiety in American Christianity. And I think the puppet ministry is very nicely symbolic of that. Mega churches are a motherfucker. And things get weird in the suburbs, There's this strange thing that happens once you feel like all the problems have been solved. Do you know what I mean? Like Christ has come and everybody's saved. And why is everybody still miserable? Yeah, I'm gonna come back to puppets. I promise, buddy. I saw your disinterest.
No.
So you're endlessly purchasing things, putting a gym in your church, and a Starbucks in your church, and a puppet ministry in your church, hopefully hoping that you're going to augment the religion in some way so that finally the promised paradise occurs. Got dark. Yeah, and so that's something that my mother did. My mother was looking for a place to access a church, and she liked children, and puppets seemed innocuous. And so we bought a script online, and you can go on right now and purchase everything you need for your own Christian puppet ministry. So, do you have a more specific question? I'm sorry, I took that to a weird place.
Oh, it just seems so bizarre to me. I was like wondering like why and like how and just very basic newspaper
It's how you teach
questions.
children about Jesus and the Bible, and you reenact Bible stories with puppets, and that's how you get children involved and indoctrinated.
Well, I was raised Jewish, and
Yeah, me too.
and I'm Episcopalian. I don't understand it, but
Yeah, I don't
so
get it.
I was raised Jewish, and we would have holidays like Purim, which no one outside of the faith would know, and you would dress up. It was not puppets, but we put on shows, and we as Queen Esther and Mordecai, which just sounds like a comedy team in the village, but but we would. But it was about community, and it was about teaching culture, and it is a way to segue into getting you into the religious beliefs, and it's true of a lot of cultures, but Christianity for sure. His experience with puppet ministry, you have my empathy forever.
Well, I think also like religion and culture are stories that we tell about large groups of people, and sometimes the rituals that we create, like Purim, like the Seder dinner, where we act out parts of the religious narrative, like we get to be the divine, and we get to be the heroes in our stories.
Talk of things thousands of years old.
Exactly. So it's a way to place ourselves in the tradition. But yeah, they're also cute.
It's very
and the
southern.
Kids don't
That's
nod off.
why
Yeah.
it's very southern. They do it in the South. That might be why you don't know it.
Yeah, I'm from North Carolina, and it didn't seem out of place to me either.
Yeah.
So,
I'm from Ohio, and I knew about puppet ministry. It was something that made its way to Central Ohio.
I'm from Indiana. I'm from the very same sect of the Lutheran Church as Rob Askins, and I have never ever experienced puppet ministry. I had no idea what the fuck this was. Seriously. So go figure, right?
Hey.
All right. Well,
I was a virgin till I was 17, and up till 17, puppets were all I had.
I love it. It was good, man.
Little soundbite.
Crushing it.
Bobby, all done? You good?
I think so. You're the first man that's ever asked me that.
All right. handtogodbway.com. Give him another round of applause.
Thank you, Google.
Thank you for having us. Thank you so much.